So this is me before, and this is me after. How are you supposed to respond when the doctor tells you you have cancer? At age 18, I was diagnosed with Hodgkins lymphoma, a cancer originating from white blood cells affecting the lymphatic system. How are you supposed to prepare yourself for something so huge when you didn't even look ill? It was unbelievable, and it was all happening to me. I was working in TK Maxx at the time, and there was a small lump just above my collarbone where that scar is, and I was getting everyone to feel it and poke it, which I probably shouldn't have, but I was like, I didn't know what it was. It was the size of a pea to begin with. They had to put a needle in and sort of poke it around to try and get some of the liquid that was inside it to test it. It was so painful. Like, I hate needles, but even in my arm, never mind having it in my neck. So I hated that. And then when the test results came back, then she said that it was Hodgkins, and then she said it was a type of lymph cancer. And I don't know, I can't really remember how I reacted. My mum wrote it in a diary. She wrote everything down and just said that when she looked at me, I looked really stunned. I didn't know what to say. You don't really think, as cheesy as it sounds, you don't think it could happen to you. And I was only 18, and you don't think of things like that, you know, you think cancer's for like old people. And everything happened really quickly, actually. I think I was diagnosed on the Friday and then started chemo on the Tuesday, which was really fast. I was stage 2, which meant it was in my neck and in my chest. I spent my time in hospital when I was having chemo. Because I was 18, I was classed as an adult, so I was put onto the adults ward, and everybody was like 70 plus, I'd say. Everyone had white hair and they were all old people, and it was so daunting because it was so new to me, and I'd just be diagnosed. I thought, I'm like the only person my age in the world with cancer. They said that I'd have 8 months worth of chemo, which I'd have every 2 weeks on a Thursday. So my whole family came with me to have the first chemo, and it all went fine. They had to put a little cannula thing in my arm, and they brought the chemo out, and she had like a mask on and gloves, and it looked like dangerous stuff. So I shit myself. Come on, Lee. And so they gave it to me and everything was fine. I didn't feel it go in, I didn't feel anything. It took about 2 hours, and that was it. And then they were like, you know, just prepare yourself now for the next few days or whatever. So no, I just thought of it as like just a little illness that I'd need to take some tablets and get over it, and obviously it was a lot more than that. But they got home, they literally had to like carry me into bed, which is where I spent the next 5 days. The only time I woke up was when my mum, you know, I had to take tablets, and my mum brought them in, and I couldn't even lift my head off the pillow. Like, she had to grab my whole self and lift me to drink water and take these tablets. I was so moody and angry. I don't know, all I wanted to do was sleep. I was just knackered. I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't even know what chemo was to begin with. Like, when she said that, I was like, right, you know, I know that that's what you associate cancer with, having chemotherapy, but I didn't know what it was. Is it a pill? Is it an injection, or what? Turns out it's like a bag of fluid that you have that goes into like a drip in your arm. It's a poison basically, and it just kills all the bad stuff and the good as well. So it kills all of your growing cells. all of your growing cells. I had to go in to get a Hickman line, which is just like some tubes that hang out. They get attached to a vein, like your main vein close to your heart, and they hang out. Everyone probably would have seen them when I was out. The point of it was that they didn't have to keep finding a vein to try and put my chemo in and to take bloods. And my veins were just slowly dying every single time the chemo went in them, so there was like no veins left. I went in to have it and he said, you know, don't eat anything for the last 12 hours or something. But I forgot, and I had melon in the morning. And we got in and my mum was like, oh, you know, you weren't supposed to eat anything. And I said, oh, it's only melon, it's only like water, it'll be fine. And then we got in and the woman was like, have you eaten anything? Or the doctor, he was like, have you eaten anything? I said, well, that's the melon. And he said, oh, we can't do it then. And my mum just started crying. And I was like, what the fuck are you crying for? And she was just like, because I know how scared you've been of this, and you know, I just wanted to get it over and done with. And I was like, I'm not even crying, shut up. I absolutely loved it. Like, it was my favourite thing, because I had to have no needles or anything. Everything could be taken from these 2 tubes. I'd have to tuck them into my dresses and my tops if I was going out, like, but if I was going for a shower as well, I'd have to put like a little sandwich bag over it to keep them from not getting infected, because they could get affected really easily, cells. I was sick off chemo once. I don't know why that was, but I was never sick off it. The anti-sickness tablets they gave me were amazing. They give it to me in like IV form as well as tablets. And I know they were so good because one time I forgot to take them, and I went into town with Natalie, and I collapsed on the floor and was sick, like The Exorcist, everywhere outside McDonald's. That was so embarrassing. I couldn't breathe, like I fainted. I was knocked out for I don't know how long. So she rang the ambulance and I was just laying on the floor, like everyone was looking at me. I said, you know, what's the chances? And she said, it's a 50-50 chance, like, you might, and obviously I did. But it started falling out probably 2 chemos in. I'd stop brushing it, because whenever I brushed it, it would just come out onto the floor. I'd wake up and it'd be on my pillow. It wasn't, I don't know, looking back now, I can't really remember. I guess I was like upset about it at the time, but then as soon as we shaved it, it was fine, and I quite liked it. Didn't have to bother with it. But then when I finally started getting wigs, then I felt a lot better about it. Well, the girls that I was close to, I guess I texted a lot of them, because they sort of knew what was going on. I suppose it just brought us all together, really. It wasn't, for my closer friends, it wasn't, it just became the norm after a while. It was obviously a shock to everybody when I shaved my head, but they soon got used to it, and it was just like a normal thing. Friends that I was close to in school and that would see me out on a night out, it wasn't as easy, I suppose. A lot of people would cry and come up to me and cry and, you know, tell me that they felt sorry for me or whatever like that. That's not what I wanted, you know. Nobody ever seen me with a bald head apart from my close friends, but obviously people knew I wore a wig. It was very hard for people that didn't know me personally, you know, that they didn't see me every day and see what I was like and how I felt about it all. It was fine. That they just worried about me and cried, and they just were a bit silly about it, to be honest. I worried when I did go out with a wig on. I thought, oh shit, you know, it's gonna fall off and somebody might knock it off or pull it off accidentally. That was a big worry at the beginning. Like the first time I ever went out in Cabanas, I just ran straight to the toilet with Alex and had a little cry, and I was just like, I can't do it, Al. I got used to it after a while. They were really itchy and they did fall off quite easily. I found out when I was drunk. I got used to it after a while. They were really itchy and they did fall off quite easily. I found out when I was drunk. I remember one of them, I was in town with the girls for Halloween and I was like painted green from head to toe. I was poison ivy and I had all these leaves all over me and I had my black wig on. I don't know if I was running or what I was doing, but I slipped and just like it just flew off, and everyone that saw me just sort of looked at me like, what? And then Karis ran over, and I was so angry. I don't know why I was so angry. I'm laughing now, but I was like, "Kat, put it back on." And she stuck it on back to front, and it was really short at the back, so it sort of stuck out at the front. And I was cursing her. I know I went into hospital and was put on one of those little gas mask things because I couldn't breathe properly, and like gradually over the time when I was in hospital it got worse, and I ended up having rigors. They're just like, they're not fits, but your body like shakes uncontrollably and you're stuck in one position, and that like absolutely kills your back. So I was having them throughout the night at one point. They'd have to give me an injection to like calm them down. I don't know where they came from, but it got so bad then that I went into intensive care for a while, fitted with like this massive mask that would like push the air into my lungs. I looked ridiculous, like a little bald head and this massive mask, and I was like bright orange from fake tan because I couldn't stop doing that. And then yeah, so I was in intensive care, and just to give me this injection every, I don't know, every 4 hours I think it was, in my arm, and it made everything turn blue and like wavy, like I watched the clock on the wall when they did it, and it would just sway, and I was like, oh my god. I couldn't speak because they couldn't take this mask off, so everything I did I had to write it down, and I had a cannula in my arm, so my writing was horrendous, and like no one could understand what I was saying, so I was just like, oh, for God's sake. Not to mention the girls were going to Magaluf that week, and I was booked on to go if I was well enough, but I wasn't, obviously. But yeah, the TCT, they've been great. Like they take us out for meals and stuff, and that's where I've met the majority of my friends. And everyone's just, they're so cool, and it's really nice to talk to people that have been through the same thing as you. People that have been through the same thing as you. People love to talk about it. I mean, I love to talk about it. People love to talk about it. I mean, I love to talk about it. They want to tell their stories, and you know, you have so much in common with some people. It just feels better to talk to someone sometimes who's been through it, rather than like just your mum or whatever. They might think you're a bit weird with all like the emotions you're going through and stuff. I've lost a few people as well. Obviously, I've made friends along the way and lost a few of them, which is really sad, and it's really puts it into perspective, really. You know, you had a type of cancer as well as them, but they haven't got through this, and in a way it gives you a bit of guilt, like why them and never me, like, in a way. But yeah. When I was first diagnosed, I was appointed a social worker, and she did everything for me. She got me like loads of free stuff, loads of free money, just things to keep me going while I was off work, I think, and disability money, which helped me out big time, and a sabre badge for my car, which was a lifesaver. Charlie used it more than I did. So when I was first diagnosed, she must have put me on some kind of list for like a Make-A-Wish thing. She gave me this pack, and it had said what other people have had previously. And one I remember was this little boy. He asked to have a cow out his back garden, so they did it for him. So that was like high on my list. But I thought hard about it, and I thought I'd love to go to New York for Christmas and watch a Broadway show. So that's what they did. Me and a carer, me and Craig, they put us up in a 5-star hotel for a week, and gave us £600 spending money, and booked us tickets to see the show Wicked in New York over Christmas time, which was amazing.